Hello guys and welcome back to the channel Highl Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you've seen and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, rumour has it IMG is going to be the global partner for Super League Europe and the RFL. The head coach has been revealed for the Combined Nations All-Stars in their game against England in June. And we look through the highlights of the Warrington Wolves versus Catalan Dragons on Sky Sports and OKR versus St. Helens. So for the England mid-season test, international test, Rugby League legend Ellery Hanley, MBE, will play an important part in England's preparation for the World Cup later this year as head of the Combined Nations All-Stars when they take on England at Warrington's Hallowell-Jones Stadium on Saturday the 18th of June. Hanley will be aiming to emulate Australian coaching guru Tim Sheens, who last year steered the All-Stars to a 26 points to 24 victory over England at the same venue. This is when he goes head-to-head with his former Wigan and Leeds teammate, England head coach Shaun Wane. The England game against the Combined All-Stars is part of a double header which sees the England women also taking the international field as they take on France. England women defeated France 40 points to 4 in Perpignan last October, and the match offers critical World Cup preparation for both nations and the teams who are ranked third and fifth in the world respectively. On the same weekend as well, England wheelchair team will be in action as they build towards their World Cup campaign, which gets underway at London's Copper Box Stadium in October. Full details of that fixture will be coming via the RFL website shortly. Dave Rotherham, RFL Chief on the Field Officer, says, with the World Cup on the horizon, this is a hugely significant year for Rugby League, and for our three England teams these fixtures will be a major part of tournament preparations. It's also a blank weekend in the domestic calendar, so a fantastic opportunity for supporters to get behind England Rugby League. These variations of Rugby League, alongside the diversity at the heart of the Combined Nations concept, demonstrates how inclusion remains at the heart of our game. This year's England versus the Combined Nations All-Stars fixture assumes extra significance following the devastating volcanic eruption and tsunami on the Tongan archipelago. Tongan players are most certainly going to be featured in the All-Star squad, and next week the RFL, in association with Oxen and Rugby League Cares, will announce details of a Tonga-inspired All-Stars jersey, proceeds from the sales of which will go towards fundraising for all those affected by the tsunami. Their head coach, Ellery Hanley, a member of the Rugby League Hall of Fame and three-time Man of Steel, is one of the most decorated and revered players in the history of the game. Hanley was integral to Wigan's success and achieved every major domestic honour, including 3 championships and 4 Challenge Cup successes. He also made 38 international appearances, 36 of which for Great Britain, and coached Great Britain in a home series against Australia in 1994, in doing so becoming the first black person to coach or manage a major British national team. Hanley will later go on to coach St. Helens to Super League Grand Final success in 1999 over his first club, Bradford. In his coaching staff, Andrew Henderson, the former Scotland hooker who is now the head of rugby at Keighley Cougars, as well as a popular rugby league pundit, will be Hanley's assistant coach, providing invaluable continuity after working with Tim Sheens in a successful All-Stars camp back in 2021. Carl Hall, the long-serving Doncaster chief executive and former RFL vice president, who is the chair of the Pacific Islands Rugby League group, will continue as the team's manager. There is some news coming out with regards to the plans going forward with Reallignment and what the RFL are trying to do to help sustainability of rugby league. And according to the Press Association, the RFL are looking at New York-based global sports and events management company, IMG, to be welcomed on board as a strategic partner. They hope to take them on board as part of the realignment with the Super League. And IMG was taken over in 2013 by Endeavour, which owns UFC, which has seen a substantial growth since they got involved. They represent and manage some of the world's greatest sporting figures and fashion icons. Also, they stage hundreds of live events and branded entertainment experiences annually. Even though IMG is yet to be confirmed, an RFL spokesman said the RFL and the Super League Europe are in advanced talks discussions regarding a possible strategic partnership to maximise the sport's commercial potential, as per the plans outlined in last autumn, with the appointment of a strategic working group. All parties have agreed that these discussions must remain confidential, so we're unable to comment further. Although, we hope to provide further clarity, which we believe will be welcomed by the sport as a whole in the near future. Meanwhile, Leeds chairman Gary Hetherington, who has been leading the search for a new strategic partner, added to the comment, "Only a few months ago the game appeared to be in crisis with the departure of Super League Chief Executive Chairman Robert Elstone, the rejection of a private equity offer, and the reduction of a television deal. Yesterday's announcement was significant in the fact that all Super League clubs voted in favour, so one can assume it will adopt the game. It will get adopted by the game in the next few weeks' time. It's quite historic for the game in many ways. It is what Super League was meant to deliver when it started 27 years ago. The game has never had specialists in the field leading the charge to maximise the commercial revenue from all the game's major assets. I think it's completely changed the landscape of sport in a relatively short space of time. It feels it is a pivotal point in the history of the game. Starting in 1960, IMG was a company that thought that they could maximise the potential earnings of athletes with endorsements during the television age. The founder, Mark McCormack, signed professional golfers Arnold Palmer, Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus as his first clients, who collectively known as the Big Three. They have also run Channel 4 Racing, have been partnerships with the Premier League, PGA European Tour, Associated Press as well, and the Asian Tours Golf. So they've got a good portfolio behind them, with 24-hour sports channels for airline and cruise industries as well. They are massive, and if they come on board with Rugby League, they should be able to get the potential out of Rugby League, as long as Rugby League do what they say. So now we're going to have a look at the highlights for Catalan's visit to Warrington Wolves. Warrington Wolves are a 100% record so far, and Catalans were 2 wins in 3 games. Warrington, because of the French contingent not usually travelling with their team, put on a pound kids with any paying adult deal, which filled out the away stand quite nicely, to be fair, in this top of the table clash. So here are the teams. So first of all, Tyrone May comes into the side at fullback for Catalan in place of Sam Tompkins, whose knee injury forced him out. Dean Ware is not in the side, as Artur Romano appears in the backs again after 18 months out. Mitchell Pearce and Danny Drinkwater continue at half-backs, but Alex DaCosta starts again in place of Mike McMeekin, who misses out altogether. No, sorry, not Michael McAloran. Mike McMeekin is playing in the front row once more, but as you can tell, it's his as you were from the previous game, apart from Michael Gudemon coming onto the bench and Cesar Rouge coming also on the bench instead of Joe Champ. For the Warrington Wolves, it is as you were for the 17 with two minor tweaks. First of all, Danny Walker starts at halfback again in place of Daryl Powell. He's the preferred choice for the last game and a half. While Joe Bullock starts for his first game in place of Joe Philbin. But otherwise, it's the same 17 as the victory in Toulouse. So even before the kickoff, like 2 minutes beforehand, there is some controversy on the Catalan side as Fuad Yaha is removed from the team and Romain Franco comes in as a late replacement due to what looks like a hamstring injury to the big Catalans winger. The opening points though go to Catalan Dragons as they first force a dropout they do force Warrington into a dropout and they come again. Tyrone May almost gets over and then they set up again with Benjamin Garcia going in for the drive. But the try that comes, watch the double pump pass from Josh Drinkwater on the second man receiver. So they've set up just left of the posts and they go left as well, but Drinkwater double pumps into Mike Whitley, who gets a big gap to run through. Josh Drinkwater then adds the extras. Well, sort of. It hits the far post and then bounces over. And that's the score at 6-0 to the Catalans Dragons. I'll say his name again. It's Matt Whitley, not Mike Whiteley. Keep getting names wrong, I apologise. Warrington up to this point had been just fumbling the ball every time that they got towards the Catalans halfway line. And the try seemed to wake them up as Gareth Widdop starts pulling the strings. Warrington pass it to the left and Ben Curry stands up Romain, who's playing centre, but good tackle from Tyrone May leaves Matty Ashton to get the ball and to go over for Warrington's first try. Ratchford nails a beauty from the touchline and it's 6-all and all the momentum seems to switch to Warrington. A little bit of the word for the Catalan centre Romain. He'd come back after 18 months of bad injuries. His little bit of inexperience and lack of game time may have contributed to that standing up that he got against Ben Curry and just swatted him off. There was a lot of huffing and puffing after this for Warrington, but no end product, I'm afraid. They got a couple of repeat sets due to the referee calling 6 again twice, and Sam Cassiano locked on the Warrington player on the last tackle when he was being tackled. Peter Metalji's on the ground. Sam Cassiano flopped on him, giving a penalty away. Bit of nil discipline and a lot of defence that Catalan needed to do. And they did get through it. They're blowing like anything though, Catalan. All the young French lads that they've got out in the backs, they're blowing as well. But apart from a Mitchell Pearce attempted drop goal, that dropped well short to be fair, that was the end of the scoring. And the half-time score is Warrington 6, Catalan 6 in what's been an okay game so far. So usually in the second half you get a feel of who might do the better and win the game with whoever comes out the traps first. And Catalans did so as they went over for the first try of the game. after a booming kick by Drinkwater into the right corner. He follows it up with the rest of the chasers. And Romano is ambling up and everything like that. And the Warrington captured, puts down the ball. And the ball is back in play. Rashford is stood there waiting to see what Franco does, because he's the first one to the ball. And he knocks it past Rashford. Goes to dive on the ball. He's not tackled by the Warrington men. And he just turns on over and puts the ball down. After referee confirmation, the try is given and Drinkwater adds the extras. And it's 12 points to 6 to Catalan's Dragons. Not long after that, the Warrington let Catalan off the rack as Catalan trundled down the field after this. And it's a try for Catalan not soon after that. As you can see here, the referee is pointing at the man who's offside, and he has no other option but to blow for the offside. The ball is worked to the left hand side where Drinkwater puts a kick back inside, and it's Mitchell Pearce who's following up to score Catalan's third try of the game. And look at how much it means to the Catalan side and Mitchell Pearce himself with all the celebrating. Drinkwater adds the extras to this one as well, and it's 18 points to 6 to Catalan's Dragons. After this though, Mike Cooper gets a break into the Catalans 20-metre line, and all he needs to do is give a soft pass off to George Williams, and he was in. But it goes over his head, which Julian scoops up, and Catalan are back on the attack. At one point though, the Catalans winger Romain Franco, who didn't think he was going to be playing today, gets the ball down the left wing and he tries to outstrip the Warrington defence. He just doesn't have the legs strong enough to get past Hanley, Ashton, two of the fastest players in Super League. But it's not long after that Catalans are in once more. It's all given to Catalan for 24 points to 6. But what happened was the ball is on the last tackle and Catalan are right on the line of Warrington Wolves. And I don't know who's misheard the tackle, the count, or they got the timing of the pass wrong or anything like that. But prop forward Mikel Gudemon's got the ball and is looking one direction only, towards the line. So he decides, because he finds out it's the last, to grubber it in. Grubber goes underneath one set of legs and hits Rashford, and Gudemon's there pushing against Rashford, and Rashford's pushing back to Gudemon, and it's getting stuck in between the legs of the two players when they're compressing together. And then it eventually comes free, and it's going towards the try line, and the first person that sees that is Miguel Gudemon. Reaches for it, pushes it over the line and puts it on the line. The ball had already hit the floor just beforehand, but it's still got a point up in the air, so it's pushed it over, and the radio referee saw all this. There was no knock-on involved and gave the try, which Josh Drinkwater puts over for 24 points to 6. Josh Drinkwater's been playing the best for the Catalan Dragons so far. He's my first thought for man of the match. Warrington are down to 12 men as what appears to be a crusher challenge on one of the Catalan players by Davis, who's come on from the bench, sees Davis sent to the bin for 10 minutes. But this does not deter Warrington, and they start using the wings, and it's of their benefit, because after they gone from the left hand side, they go to the right hand side and find some space on the right edge, and now Whitley is in the bin after holding down Josh Hanley. Don't get me wrong, Whitley did a fantastic tackle, but the numbers weren't there, so he had to do something. to try and keep Catalan ahead, which sees him go into the bin. Then comes a barnstorming finish as Warrington come forward in attack once more, and it's another try for Josh Hanley, who gets his first of the night. We're into the final 10 minutes. How many can he score? Well, first he's down the right hand edge after the penalty, the sin binning. The ball is through to the left first of all, and then the ball comes back to the right, goes through the hands, and Josh Hanley dives over in the corner, puts the ball down for 12 points to 24. Rashford nails that conversion so well. He was in a rush, but still gets it over. Now comes from part 2. Warrington are back in the game with a minute left to play as they go down the right hand side, and Metaltia puts in a kick for Charnley, who that kicks the ball on and grounds it. Has enough pace to get there for the try. Well, first of all, we have to check to see if there was any offside by any of the players, or the grounding was fumbled. There was a little hint of Charnley being offside for Metaltia's kick, but they weren't going to look at that, as Robert Hicks says it was onside. No, I'm kidding. They just didn't look at it, but I'm not sure if he was onside. But the try is given, and Rashford nails the conversion again, and it's 18 points to 24. Like I said, with a minute left to go, and Warrington decide to throw the ball about. They go from right to left, looking for Metaltia to keep the ball going. I don't know why they're looking for Metaltia. They have many players that could do the job as well, with Widdop, King, Curry, Williams, Clark, all on the pitch. They get over the halfway line on the left edge, and a tackle by, I think it was Ben Garcia, was ripped one-on-one. And it falls in the hands of Franco. And that's how the game finishes, as the final hooter goes in with the ball in the hands of Franco. Oh, sorry, Romano it was. They were playing in centre. Did really, really well. But that doesn't make any difference to the 2 points going down to the south of France. So who was today's man of the match? Well, I could give it to one of the two young French lads that came into the side late for Catalans, as they settled as the games went further on and played a defensive game. They weren't showing too much going forward, but you weren't expecting that of a player who didn't come into the warm-up or possibly considered for the team the week leading up. But that left one choice, and I've already given my hint towards it. It was Josh Drinkwater. He led the Catalans around, and his kick, or Mitchell Pearce's try, genius. They said it in commentary, and I totally agree with them. It was a genius kick. Howard just dinked it back inside from his left foot, and the on-rushing Mitchell Pearce just dive on it. That's all he needed to do, and the score was there. He's set the platform for Catalans go forward. Weakened towards the end of the game, but I would be another one that would love to be on that plane on the way home. But my man of the match is Josh Drinkwater. So the next set of highlights we're going to look at is the Hull KR versus St.Helens game. Hull KR coming to the game after a decent win against Castleford Tigers last time out, while St.Helens are looking for their 4th win in a row to maintain their top place at the top of the Super League table. So, who have been named in both teams? So again, with the visitors, we look at the Saints team, and there has been one change to the 17, where Josh Sims drops out of the starting lineup, with Will Hapoate coming back into the side after his small injury over the last couple of days. But otherwise, there is no changes in the 17 with the same people, apart from one. Yes, Carl Amor comes in for Curtis Sirenen after he is banned over the weekend. Carl Amor, who's not had the most minutes this year, but is looking to add to those in tonight's game against Hull KR. Hull KR, however, come into the game with Lachlan Coote, the former Saints man, at fullback, with Will Dagger dropping to the bench instead of Phoenix Lelulo Togoga, who drops out of the 17 completely. Elliot Minicella finds his place on the bench this game, with Corbin Sims returning, and also Jez Litton. That means there looks like there is no place for Greg Richards in the team. Yep, that's correct, who played off the bench over the last time out. While the backs stay the same, and Albert Vete returns to the side as well. The starting lineup with looks like Dean Hadley popping back into the side as well. So missing out is Kane Lynette. So we're into the first half, and it's Sione Metaltia Saints who gets the first score of the half. You see Roby directing operations on the left-hand side to Lomax, and Metaltia comes barreling over for the first try of the game. Makinson adds the 2 for a 6-0 lead. Hull KR though comes straight back, and they go through the hands of Abdul to Lachlan Coote, and then a great pass out wide and a brave dive by Ryan Hall makes it 6 points to 4, which Abdul unfortunately misses the kick. Saints are deep in the Hull KR line, it goes through the hands of Dodd, and then Wellesby puts a ball over the top for Makinson to score in the corner, which he also converts for 12 points to 4. Saints are still on the attack, and they go through the hands once again, but Dodd just takes the first receiver and finds the gap to score his first of the game, which Makinson converts for 18 points to 6. And just before half time, Metaltia goes in at half back and passes left to Wellesby, who puts a kick in which isn't fielded well, but Lewis Dodd kicks forward and scores his second try of the game. Makinson again adds the 2 points, but it's half time now, and it's all Saints, mostly in the 24 points to 4 scoreline. Saints look set to go back to the top of the table. Saints come back out after half time, and they are still in the mood for scoring tries. Saints are back deep in Hull KR territory, and Lomax passes it to Metaltia, who powers over yet again, beating 3 to his second try of the game. Makinson actually misses this kick for the scoreline of 28 points to 4. Saints now are purely on top, and Wellesby finds Sione Metaltia, who throws a massive left-sided pass over, and Makinson goes in for his second, which he converts 34 points to 4. But Hull KR respond to this second try. Maybe it's just the cancellation? Let's see. The ball is swung to the left-hand side, and Jordan Abdul puts up a massive bomb, which Ryan Hall passes back, and then Will Dagger goes over for the try. Frankie Halton goes over for the try. It's the Big Props first try for Hull KR, but Jordan Abdul couldn't make it 6, so it's 34 points to 8. But Saints have started to pull out the party tricks, and off a kick and chase, Saints are in again. Saints go to the right, and Lomax, who's been pulling the strings all the time, kicks from the inside, and it's Alex Walmsley who's following in for the try this time. Then an unfortunate try to put the icing on the cake as Wellesby kicks into the corner for Makinson right on the 80th minute, and the fullback is unable to gather in, and Makinson gets his hat-trick. He misses the conversion, but unfortunately for Hull KR, it's a routing for the Robins as they are down by the Saints, 42 points to 8. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and also share this video worldwide, as well as clicking the notification bell for any updates that you may receive or future episodes that will be coming your way. I'm not going to ask you for any opinions today. I'm just going to play the pre-match entertainment at Warrington. Only a little thing, but it's kind of nice. It never disappoints. But if you have anything to say about today's video, please use the comments below and start the civil discourse. I'll just say bye for now, and I hope you enjoy.
Faces a real test then this evening. Will there be some wizardry from the Warrington Wolves against last season's table toppers, the Catalan Dragons? Steve McNamara's side went all the way to the grand final last year, and that's Warrington's aim for this year under their new head coach, Darryl Powell.